You know, legally speaking, India has provisions against discrimination, some of those constitutional, but clearly incidents like these, they keep on happening. What's your assessment? What's your reading with what we've seen on Patna Junction? Where a couple of days earlier, it was a couple in the national capital. Before that, it was Angel Chakma in Dehradun. Is the real gap in the law itself or in the enforcement on the ground? What's your assessment, sir?
My assessment is that in India, our country is diverse and we tend to suffer from parochial mindset. In that parochial mindset, my take is that you know a certain aspects of a thing or a phenomenon to the extent of your exposure. For example, in the case of the Malvinagar case, the lady who passed those racial remarks, she's exposed to maybe certain girls from the Northeast who might be working in the services sector. This is one. So therefore, the stereotypes and then the generalization that takes place. In the 2014 case of the Arunachal boy who was killed, Tanya, that fellow, an MLA's son, that is also limited to an exposure of what they understood of a boy who wanted to have a samosa at a sweet shop, and therefore see him as somebody who does not belong here, and then a strong voice or a strong assertion is taken as an insult. So this is another. Then again, this Dehradun case of Momo cases or Chinky cases, this is another parochial exposure, and then the mindset, because for a Northeastern person to be limited to the extent of your features, let's say the eyes, or maybe of a food culture, which is not necessarily yours. A Naga food is very diverse. A Manipuri food is very diverse. It is very rich as well. But when you bring it down to an idea of identity on Momo, this calls for a certain concern of attacking of your dignity and therefore the reaction, which will come again. And this explosion is so sudden that maybe the Northeastern person or maybe the young person who is being targeted did not have time to navigate. And that's why the reaction. And then for that other person in that parochial mindset again, he sees him as a Chinese, and Chinese is a very hostile construction.
No, absolutely. Whatever we've seen at the Patna Junction is abhorrently shameful. Let's begin at that point. It's abhorrently shameful.
Yes. Should I continue?
Yeah. Please.
But then on the other side, we have lots of migrants in the northeastern part. In Mizoram and all these places, we may use the term Vai, which simply means foreigner. Right? And there is no such things whereby a person will be judged purely on the ground of color or facial features. But usually in the Northeast, a person's status is determined by his character. There is dignity of labor, there is dignity of gender. So therefore, that judgment which affect their dignity never happens in the northeastern part of India. So we have migrants, we see them, we allow them to navigate, we see their character, and then we say that this person is a hardworking man. He might be running a salon, he might be running a small grocery shop, he might be running errand for supply of goods and all that. They live and they thrive, they're happy. But in Bihar and all these public places, the sudden explosion and limiting a person to a facial features of the eye or a construction of a food or maybe an idea of hostile termination of China would cause an explosion, and therefore there's no time to navigate. And the moment there's a reaction, the response is very strong. Yeah,
that's a fair point, Dr. Tombing. You know, and assessment of character by any margin is a better standard to understand where a person actually comes from.